Deputy Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Janet Banda SC, and Secretary for Human Resource Management, and all the principal secretaries present here, Mr. Emmanuel Lubebe, Emerging Public Leaders Global Board Representative, and I noticed that there's been a hidden one, but this one is a former Secretary to the President Cabinet of Kenya. So you have really benefited from real aiders here to share. Mr. Arthur Shebwana, the board chairperson of Emerging Public Leaders Malawi, and chairman of the Civil Service Commission of Malawi government. Members of the diplomatic corps and heads of diplomatic missions who are present here. Mr. Richard Okai, Director of Programs and Learning, Emerging Public Leaders Global. Linda Halawa, the Country Director of Emerging Public Leaders, and also the other board members of the Emerging Public Leaders Malawi. Our fellows who have brought us here, mentors, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I first said, maybe I should say good morning first. But I said, I don't know where to start from. I think for me, it's humbling. It's exciting that we have this day today and that we have this group, which is here, the emerging leaders. As I came out of the car here at BICC, I kept on remembering, I couldn't avoid remembering that day when my executive assistant and I, she even had a wrong address of Uber in Washington, when the president had directed me to follow up on this program, that we need this in Malawi too. So we're moving around and around searching. We had it wrong, and we ended up having the meeting at 6 p.m. instead of 4 because we couldn't give up. We went back to the hotel and started again, until we met and started the discussions. That was 2023. At the same time, actually, the president in Davos had also spoken to Chandler to meet me. And I was rushing to have a dinner with them to also talk about the public service, issues of accountability. That's how we have also the individual performance management system. Chandler Institute is supporting us. So this is one part, because he was saying, he came in and assumed that the public service, the civil service, is supposed to be a service which is continually working and non-partisan. Because what is a civil service? I've always said it every time and again, that a civil service is a nerve center of this nation. The private sector, we say, is an engine of growth. But the civil service is the nerve center. And the nerve center, anything happens, things collapse. The civil service formulates policies for this country. The civil service is the one which initially works on all these bills to go to the legislature. The civil service is the one which, even when things have come back from the legislature, will develop regulations and all those things to be able to implement the laws. The civil service delivers service, public service, to the citizens. So you can imagine that it's the one which is in the center. But in that civil service, you have people, you have personnel, and that's you. The moment there's no investment in that personnel, because to keep any system alive, I was listening to his speech, and he brought out all these issues, Mr. Emmanuel, that you need to train people. To keep any system alive, there has to be continuous training. Otherwise it won't. And the biggest asset is the personnel, the human being you have, because it's the one to deliver. And this is why I said we thank His Excellency, the President, Dr. Chakwera, because this is what he already saw in his vision, that we need to develop people and make them accountable, and started those efforts long time back. Actually, I think it was COVID which disturbed him a lot, that we are talking of 2023, because that's when things now started coming back to life. So, to be here today and witness this, actually Shindime said, oh, I believe the President knows that the SPCC. It's not believing that he knows. He's the one who sent me in the first place to have the program come to Malawi too. So even now, he's aware of every stage as to what is happening, and even what is happening today and this morning. So it is with that honor and pleasure for me to be here today and stand before you to officially launch the Public Service Fellowship Program, a work readiness program designed to create and nurture a new generation of highly performing and ethical public sector professionals and leaders. Most of us may be aware that Malawi population is predominantly youthful, with over 70% almost aged below 30, and that population structure definitely calls for implementation of deliberate policies and programs designed to achieve a globally competitive human resource base. But with changing demands in the workplace, the need for work readiness programs has grown significantly, and such programs require heavy investments in terms of time, financial resources, manpower to execute things successfully. And as I mentioned already, the importance of the civil service and the NEF Center in all this. The resources are often committed to the training of more experienced staff, for which returns are perceived to be more assured. It's therefore particularly significant that this fellowship program is targeting young university graduates and newly recruited public service professionals. For me, I believe that in our culture there's a saying, amati mbarara ikakota semungarani semungayongole idakota. So this notion of saying you should always invest people who are already there, what do you mean? Because those people, they've acquired certain things which I must admit, I was in the civil service before and had a whole 15-year gap in between before I came back, but I now found a completely different civil service. And I think I agreed with the president then that no, I think to say we will change this one might be a tall order. The programs which you've initiated is the right one, because we are now dealing with the young ones down there who need to be shaped to take over and nurture them to be those leaders for Malawi. So this fellowship program is an integral part of human capital development and job creation, designed to operationalize the national development agenda His Excellency Dr. Chakwera is championing, and as articulated in the Malawi Agenda 2063. Fellows will be provided with an opportunity to acquire the much needed work experience for a competitive human resource and high-performing public service. The curriculum being delivered through a blended learning approach, I understand, includes the mentorship of fellows by host MDAs. I spoke to the few of them, some in Foreign Affairs Ministry, in Gender, National Statistical, including our girl who did the poem here, who is it Kamusento Hospital, Chifonino. So it's in different departments of government, and also participating in occasional visual classes and assignments. So combined mentorship of fellows by experienced public service professionals, academic in-person learning, and flexible online engagement. So we are being exposed to the various, areas. And this, of course, jointly run by Emerging Public Leaders Global and MasterCard Foundation. The program seeks to improve public service delivery, manage government resources ethically and transparently, and also build a cadre of high-performing professionals. I have learned that in this program, some of the things you'll be going through, for me, I think there's a young man from Ghana who said that it has built confidence in us. Actually, this is one thing I noted. I said this program will help build confidence, help build capacity, and the presence, your presence in you as future leaders. So I have noted several things which will be taken through. You'll be taken through structured learning to explore career paths and shape your career development in a proactive and purposeful way. You will learn from experienced public service professionals, seasoned retired public servants, and eminent subject specialists about their own career trajectories and leadership lessons. I also like the portion of community participation. In that community service, it's not just wanting to know what others, because that also brings the social awareness, which is also critical for a leader. The ability to accurately pick up on emotions of others around you and understand the dynamics which are in play, which allows you now to have compassionate leadership. But apart from that, remember, the civil service delivers a public service. It's important to know and participate in those communities so that you understand whatever you are doing in this office, either in Capitol Hill or wherever you're operating from, that what impact is that doing on the community on the ground. Whatever you do here has an impact to the community. The policy you are formulating is going to impact communities. So that portion, I find it also very, very touching for me and critical. To make sure that you understand. I understand you are also going to work in groups to develop career plans based on personal assessment and professional goals. And also you build a network of peers and mentors for career guidance, and also join a Pan-African peer network. Let me congratulate you, all the fellows, for passing the rigorous selection interviews. I know that in our discussions, this one was key, that it should be a competitive process. So congratulations. My call is that I appeal to you all to take the mentorship and a series of transformative training programs seriously and ensure full participation. Full participation. I know that when you are young or in school, you sometimes take things for granted and not take them seriously. I recall too, we passed the corridors of Chilunga then, And when I would go in econometrics class, it was like it's just something, it's a class. So you are given an exercise, econometrics, you do, it's marked, you've passed or not. My shock came when I came into economic planning then, and that I was recruited. And 5 months later, they now placed us, and I was placed in the macroeconomics division, unit to be doing the macro analysis. I was shocked, sincerely. I was shocked that, so those things we're learning in school, they are real. I didn't know that it's real, For those who've done economics, I'm a macroeconomist, and you'll say the y equals c plus I plus g plus x minus m. It was just like it's just an equation in class. But literally, when you're in the macro analysis unit, that's what you are doing. You are coming up with the value addition figure, which from NSO, from the historical data you've come, and that is the division, the GDP. And you are now trying to break that GDP into the C plus I plus G plus X minus M. It's not fun, because that's what becomes a basis for the whole budget of the country. And you say, okay, it's easy. And then we used to work with the late Honorable Leke Bandas, may he so rest in peace. And that they are waiting for you to come with the figures from your model to present in the conference room. So the point I'm making is, take these things seriously. Do not miss and do funny things. You are the ones who will be standing here tomorrow. That time I didn't also know that I'll be SPC one day. So all these are things which are nurturing you, putting you together so that you can lead Malawi. We are trying to put, because for some of us, you are hearing us talking today, were just some seeds which God had put aside that we can be here today to impart to you, because you are the ones tomorrow to take the country forward. So congratulations, and urging you to take advantage of every moment as you've started this journey. Skills, work experience that will be gained from the fellowship program will give you a competitive edge during job interviews elsewhere, or even in your entry into the public service. You are a new generation of leaders who are equipped to address Malawi's challenges and seize opportunities, foster collaboration, networking, and knowledge sharing. To the host ministries, departments, and agencies, I also wish to appeal to you all, the controlling officers, the principal secretaries, the heads of departments who are here, that please ensure that these fellows are assigned with suitably qualified mentors, because we do not want to take the things we don't want to be the ones which should be here tomorrow. So in every department, ministry, I'm sure you have people who know the principles, who are integral, have integrity. These are the people who should be assigned to these young people. Among other key roles, mentors will also be responsible for drawing up a work plan and providing that on-job training, coaching, mentoring, and performance appraisal. In addition, the host ministries, departments, and agencies, you should provide their respective fellows with a copy of job description. And therefore, I also wish to appeal that the Emerging Public Leaders Malawi is having monitoring and evaluation mechanism for the program, orientation sessions to take place, which I believe they already started. At this point also, let me extend my special thank you through you, Linda Harawa, Madam, I thank you to the Emerging Public Leaders Global. As the Global Board Director, you are also here. Please convey our gratitude to the Emerging Public Leaders. And also, I would like to express my appreciation to the MasterCard Foundation for providing technical and financial support, which has made the implementation of the fellowship program for Malawi to be possible. I know that this cohort is about 33 young fellows, and we'll be going into a second cohort of probably around 40 or so. It was my sincere wish that for Malawi it should be 100. I felt our challenges were more. So it's also an appeal to other partners to join us, in terms of providing the financial support towards the program so that we can increase the number of fellows. I really would want to have 100 in a year, because that way, then we'll be able to have a proper critical mass in the service, which should, push the change we are looking for. Let me also thank the implementing units from government side for the coordination role they've played during the pre-implementation phase. As you heard me, I mentioned the 2023, but we are now in 2025 launching the program. Of course, we delayed a bit, and we have their young professionals already in place, but there were a lot of activities which were done in the pre-implementation phase, led by the Principal Secretary, the Controlling Officer of Human Resource Management, Mr. Blessings Shilabade. Thank you. I know that I was every time making calls and asking where are we and all that. So the process of even having Madam Linda on board is because your department did the initial preparation work. And thank you for all that. For future cohorts, explore on how Malawi can adopt maybe a hybrid model where probably we shall be recruiting also from the university graduates as well as the newly recruited public service professionals. And I think to express once again how excited and humbled I am to have this day today that we can launch the EPL Malawi program. And now at this point, it is my singular honor and privilege to declare the Public Service Fellowship Program in Malawi officially launched.